Today on NewsCenter, find out about the restoration of Moorhead's Doughboy statue, discover a little bit about one professor's newest documentary, and check in with Moorhead's Choral Festival. All this and more, now on NewsCenter.
Good evening and welcome to NewsCenter. I'm Leanne Zaproni. Chad Hedrick has the evening off. This is your news for November 13th, 2014. One of Moorhead's oldest landmarks has been restored. Trailblazer reporters Patrick Brumback and Tanner Blevins have more.
I'm Danny Knipp, President of Round County Veterans Foundation, and we are wrapping up a project on refurbishing, restoring, rebuilding our World War I memorial, which we just commonly call the Doughboy. There were 300 doughboys made during the 1920s, and Moorhead has one of the original ones. After examining these rocks over a period of 2 or 3 years that the original pedestal was built from, we found out they were really chipping out, flaking out. So we found a guy by the name of Sam McKinney, who has a studio way out in the country from here. He's a local sculptor, and he got the project of redoing the Doughboy and the plaques on the pedestal.
We have to get the old oxidation off, which green is usually a patina that is used by sculptors, and if it just for aesthetics. But over time, bronze and copper will turn green, and it's kind of the protective barrier. But then whenever it starts turning black, that means the barrier has broken. My first step is to sandblast all the oxidation down to the original metal, which is what we've done at this point. And then after I get it cleaned up, I then use ferric nitrate or potash. It all depends on how they're going to react to the copper, which should be similar to bronze. The original memorial was the base itself that was, dedicated in 1919 by Moorhead's Women's Club. 1929 along came the Doughboy, and they said, well, it would be perfect right on top of the World War I memorial. So they corbelled in another 2 feet on top of that. So it was higher than it was when we took it down this time. It's going to be proportionally smaller, which brings it down into the viewer's, plane, viewer's level.
After about 2 months of work on the Doughboy, November the 6th, we got the Doughboy back. We got him remounted. He looks fantastic. The plaques are back on there. They sparkle like new. The Doughboy even has a glint in his eye. He just sparkles. We have instructions on how to clean him, maybe once a year, once every 2 years. We know how to keep him clean and sparkly, we hope. The original pedestal was dedicated November 11th, 1919. The Doughboy was originally dedicated November 11th, 1929. Now we're going to have a rededication November the 11th, 11 o'clock, 2014.
Rowan County native and war veteran Lloyd Dean is one of the many veterans that arrived to watch the unveiling of the refurbished Doughboy statue. NewsCenter reporter Andrew McCann caught up with Mr. Dean along with others to get their thoughts on the statue and what it means to them, the students, and the community.
We've worked on this a long time. I think it lets the people of Moorhead and those that drive through that and I'm a veteran myself, that we appreciate the veterans and what they have done for this country. With the wall here, the Veterans Museum in the back, the Arts Museum here, and the Doughboy, I think we got a lot of visitors. Well, of course, my name's on the wall. I had a first cousin killed in the Second World War. I've had buddies that went to school with that was killed in Korea. So it's just a great, meaningful thing to recognize the death of those that I sat beside of in school, played with, grew up with, and my relatives.
I think it really lets the veterans know especially that, you know, people care now. You know, a lot of times you heard a lot of different things through different conflicts they've had that veterans would come back and they felt like that they didn't make a difference or that people really didn't care what they were doing. But I believe it's really raising an awareness of, you know, the sacrifice and the cost that war takes and freedom and how it costs a lot of lives. And, you know, people are really more appreciative of that now than they ever have been, I think. And just, you know, a lot of these students may come from a larger city and in town, and they may not be able to see this kind of unity and camaraderie that comes together here, you know. I was real pleased with the turnout that they had today, and like he said, I believe it's probably one of the biggest turnouts that they've had, and, you know, and I think it's going to grow.
I believe for the students it's actually very important to actually come down here and just take a minute of your day, especially on Veterans Day, to see all the people that have given their lives so that they could live in a free nation. Oh, I do believe that this is actually very important to the Rowan County community, as to the Moorhead student body as well.
The statue is located on Freedom Grounds and is available for public viewing to recognize and pay respect to the veterans of the community, past, present, and future. Military Times announced that Moorhead State University has made their Best for Vets College 2015 rankings. The rankings factor in the most comprehensive school-by-school assessment of veteran and military school success rates. The Best for Vets independent news project evaluates many factors that make an organization a good fit for service members, their families, and the military veterans. The news project requires schools to document a tremendous amount of services, special rules, accommodations, and financial incentives offered to military and veteran students. The project also requires a description of veteran life on campus. Military Times Best for Vets survey rankings include colleges, career and technical schools, business schools, franchises, employees, and law enforcement. The couple of Tom and Janice Stevens from Christie Creek were scammed out of $1,000 in June by 4 people. Those 4 people are now in custody. Philip Clay, Rama Boswell, Eric Boswell, and Randolph Boswell offered to install a lightning protection package originally for $4,000, but then agreed to a check worth $1,000. The 4 presented brochures, installed a cable, a rod, and put something on top of a shed adjacent to the home. Philip Clay was the first to be arrested, followed by Rama Boswell, Eric Boswell, who was arrested in Tennessee, and Randolph Boswell, who was arrested on November 5th. The Boswells have similar scam charges in several other Kentucky cities as well. Rowan County Sheriff Deputy Rufford Abner said it was the citizens who helped make the arrests because they gave a tip informing the police about the Boswell family. Later in the newscast, find out which MSU professor is hitting the big screen. We'll be right back after a break for a look at weather with Mary Dameron and NewsCenter Notices featuring Colonel Maxwell Ammons.
Claypool Young Art Gallery, located in the center of campus, offers a wide variety of art pieces from various contemporary artists in America. Exhibitions rotate approximately once a month and also host art pieces created by Moorhead State University students, allowing art majors to experience the learning process of showcasing their art. Claypool Young Art Gallery. Come on over today and be inspired by aspiring MSU artists.
Yo, why are you looking at bags, bro? What you need is a chick magnet. You put me in your room and boom, chicks. That's what I'm talking about.
Welcome back to News Center. I'm Mary Dameron. If you're just now tuning in, the weather on campus today has been quite chilly, not what we're used to. It's only 35 degrees today, and if you've been out walking about, going to class, it's actually only 21 degrees with the wind chill, so very, very chilly today. Taking a look at our record temperatures, normally about this time of year, mid-November, it's a normal high of 57 degrees and the normal low of 38, so we're right under that today. And in 1955, there was a high of 78 degrees, and the low was 38 in 1911. Taking a look at the current temperatures across the Bluegrass today, up north in Covington, it's below freezing at only 29 degrees, 33 degrees in Ashland, 30 right here in Moorhead, Mount Sterling, and Lexington, 30 in Richmond, 32 in Danville, 30 in Somerset, 31 in London and Jackson, and 32 degrees in Harlan. So very, very chilly across the state today. For our current radar, we don't see a lot going on right now currently, but there might be a few chances of some snow and rain trying to work its way up in from the south, so you might have even seen a few snow patches earlier today. For our 24-hour planner this evening, going to continue to reach those cooler temperatures at only 26 degrees by our 11 o'clock hour, very, very cold. And by noon tomorrow, it's going to be feeling even colder at 28 degrees and not warming up very much. So you want to make sure you have those coats and gloves out. It's going to be very cold. And now let's take it over to the news desk for a look at News Center notices. Hi, joining me today we have Colonel Max Ammons, who is the Director of Military Initiatives at Moorhead State. We know that you spent many years serving your country and leading the soldiers in combat, and you're a veteran yourself. Moorhead State's known for being a great school in military veterans. So how is being a veteran on campus different from being an average student?
Well, you're typically not going to tell the veteran, the student veteran from another student. They blend in pretty well. But we do have a wide variety. We have some students that are of your traditional student age because they're currently serving in the National Guard, for example, or made a reserve component. And so you really can't tell those students from any other student that's on campus. And then we have those students that fall in that non-traditional student category. Could be as old as 50, 60. We even have a 70-year-old veteran here on campus. So when you're looking across campus, usually you don't really know that it's a student veteran unless you personally know them. As far as how it's like for them to be a veteran on campus, we hope and we try and we strive to be a wonderful campus, or inviting campus for those veterans, and the feedback that we have from our student veterans is we've achieved that and we continue to do that. This area, this community, the greater community of Round County and Eastern Kentucky, as well as our community here on campus, very inviting to our veterans, very supportive of their efforts, and there is a lot of gratitude for the service of our student veterans.
What advice would you give to someone about transitioning from military life to campus life?
First and foremost, to be patient. The pace is different, and there is a bureaucracy to it. It's no secret that the military has its own bureaucracy, but when you add higher ed into it, you compound it, and it's a different type of bureaucracy. So what we have done to help the transition to be a little bit easier is we have our veterans website, and it's at moorheadstate.edu/veteran. The students can go on there and download something that might be very familiar to them. And it's a checklist, which is very common for those that served in the military. They go to a new installation, and the first thing they receive is a checklist, and it tells them where to go and how to in-process and do what they need to do. Well, we have something that looks very similar to them, and so they can download that off our website and follow those steps to figure out what to do in order to transition into life here at the university.
That's great. Is there any other services that MSU offers for veterans?
Oh, we offer a ton. We have the Veterans Center. That's the Al Baldwin Veterans Center that's located on the 3rd floor of Breckenridge in this very building. And it's set up very much like a USO lounge. It has an area for them to relax. You can make some coffee. They can use computers. They could print. And then we have a lot of services that are made available to those veterans. We do everything from help process their VA benefits to help them register for classes. And one of the benefits that most of our student veterans really enjoy is the fact they get to participate in priority enrollment. So at the beginning or prior to each semester, they can enroll for their classes. They can make sure they're the first in the door, and so they're set for the next semester.
That's great. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for all the services that you've done.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back after the break with an extended look at weather and Samuel Perkins with Eagle Athletics.
It never gets old, huh?
Nope.
It kind of makes you wanna...
Breaking the song?
Yup. I love the sunset.
I love Eagle Lake.
I love the forest. I love when eagles play.
I love the campus!
And all its sights and sounds.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
I love philosophy.
We love diversity. I love English.
And all its weird words.
I love the music.
And all its melodies. Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
I love fraternities.
I love sororities.
I love to draw things.
And all the athletes.
I love Moorhead.
It's such a pretty place.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
Welcome back to NewsCenter. I'm Mary Dameron. Currently on campus, we're seeing a very, very cold afternoon. It's only 30 degrees. That's below freezing. And if you've all been walking around campus, you may have seen a few snow flurries out and about too. The winds are moving at 12 miles per hour. And with the wind chill factoring in there, it only feels like 21 degrees. So yes, a very, very cold evening on campus. Taking a look at our 24-hour planner, unfortunately, things aren't going to warm up very much for us tonight. 29 degrees by 8 o'clock and even colder at 26 by 11 tonight. Very, very cold. A few patches of snow might be even trying to work its way on through there, so be prepared for that. Also, waking up tomorrow morning, an Arctic cold is sweeping its way through the bluegrass at only 20 degrees in the morning, so very chilly. You want to make sure you're bundled up, have your hat and gloves ready for tomorrow, and by the afternoon it feels even colder at 28 degrees. And by the evening, we're not even going to be getting much warmer, only 33 degrees and 27 by our late afternoon for Friday. Taking a look at the current temperatures across Kentucky, courtesy of WKYT. Up north in Covington, it's only 29 degrees, 33 in Ashland, 30 in Moorhead, Mount Sterling, and Lexington, 30 in Richmond, 32 in Danville, 31 in London and Jackson, 33 over in Prestonsburg, and 30 down south in Somerset, and 32 in Harlan. For our current radar, we don't see a lot of stuff going on right now in the Moorhead area, but if you take a look down south, we do see a few showers and maybe some snow trying to work its way on through the overnight hours, so you want to be prepared for that. And tonight, it's going to be very cold as well, a low of 19 degrees for our evening, so that's very, very cold, and a 30% chance of snow. So when you're waking up or going to bed tonight, you want to be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow, even colder, only 33 degrees, so it's going to be very chilly. Make sure you're bundled up and you're ready for that as you're going off to your Friday classes. And now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. Tomorrow for our Friday afternoon, it's going to be even colder at only 33 degrees with a low all the way down to 18 degrees. Wow. And for our weekend, unfortunately, it's not going to be warming up very much either. Only 38 degrees for our Saturday and very chilly at 29 degrees for the low. For our Sunday, there might even be a 40% chance of snow
and only 36 degrees, so you want to make sure you're ready for that. Monday morning, it's going to be a wintry mix at 60% chance of snow and some rain coming in through there, so very, very chilly for Monday. And the rest of the week, unfortunately, I think it's winter time, guys, so you want to make sure whenever you go home for the weekend, get your stuff and get ready for winter. So now let's take it over to Eagle Athletics with Samuel.
Your home for the Morehead State Eagles, this is NewsCenter Sports.
Your Lady Eagles volleyball team fell to 2-28 on the season after being swept this past weekend by Eastern Kentucky. The match was a close one that had 13 ties and 7 lead changes, but a couple of miscues proved to be the difference in the day. Senior middle blocker Laura McDermott was able to collect a match-high 13 smackdowns on the day. MSU will host its final home match of the season on Saturday with Murray State visiting. Colby Cameron, Laura McDermott, and Alex Fitzmaurice will all be honored as part of Senior Day. Your Morehead State ladies soccer team made it all the way to the semifinals of the OVC tournament, but in overtime was not able to finish off the win. The Eagles fell 2-1 to the second-seeded SIU Edwardsville, who went on to win the tournament. Senior forward Macy Cobb scored Morehead's only goal in the 75th minute off an assist from Jade Flory. Cobb and senior defender Elizabeth Trasnek were named to the all-tournament team. Morehead State will finish the year 11-6-5 overall. Your Morehead football team took a tough 49-28 loss to San Diego this past Saturday. The loss puts the team at 3-7 on the season so far. Sophomore quarterback Austin Gehafer was able to connect with junior wideout Tanner Napier on a bomb for 61 yards and a score, but the Eagles were not able to keep up the success late in the game. Gehafer ended the game passing for 215 yards with 2 scores. Napier led the receiving corps with 77 yards and a score. Sophomore safety Dominic Irie led the defense with 10 total tackles and a fumble recovery. The Eagles return home Saturday for its senior day against Stetson. Game time is set for 1 p.m. And now for NewsCenter's famous sports trivia. Who will the men's basketball team open the season with on Saturday? Will it be A, UK, B, Marshall, C, EKU, or D, the University of Las Vegas?
I think I'm going to go with D, Las Vegas.
I agree with Mary, Las Vegas.
Well, you guys are both correct. It is D, Las Vegas indeed, and we will keep our fingers crossed for a win this Saturday. We will be right back after the break.
The Department of Music, Theater, and Dance held its 55th annual Choral Festival for high school singers on Tuesday at the Duncan Recital Hall. NewsCenter reporter Tia Johnson got a look.
And finally, my thanks to all these wonderful high school students here and the high school students that you'll see later.
Every year my job is to host the Choral Festival. In fact, this is the 55th year we've had the Choral Festival, of which I've done, I think, 16 years. So every year I invite 2 clinicians to come, and one conducts the SATB choir, the mixed choir, and the other conducts the SSAA choir, which is an all-women's choir. And schools come from all around Kentucky and Ohio, sometimes Indiana, and sometimes West Virginia. And this year was just Kentucky and Ohio. But 26 schools came. We had 450 high school kids, so we have to take care of a lot of things. So it's a full year preparing for it. But anyway, it's a combination of a recruiting tool for Morehead State University and just an educational outreach to the state. So that's kind of the snapshot of what the Choral Festival is every year and what it does for this university and what it does in the educational life of these students. This gives the better students in each high school a chance to come and study under really, really fine conductors. So it was just a great time, and I had a great time, and I always look forward to this.
Morehead State professor Stephen Middleton created a documentary that focuses on the old American roadside attractions and curiosities in Kentucky. The project is titled Commonwealth Curiosities, an ode to Kentucky's unique attractions. Middleton shot the documentary this past summer using Kickstarter, which is an online crowdfunding site. The documentary will have its world premiere next Tuesday at Coffee Tree Books here in Morehead. The screening will begin at 6:30 p.m. Here's a first-hand look at the official trailer.
My name is Stephen Middleton. For the past 6 years, I've had the great opportunity to make a series of documentaries about the place I love and call home, the state of Kentucky. Throughout all of my travels within the Commonwealth, I have always noticed Kentucky is one unique state. With new highway and modern travel arteries, you see less and less of the real Kentucky, the one that I remember as a kid of roadside stops, curious attractions. I'm traveling from north to south, east and west to see if this real Kentucky still exists, to find out how many of these roadside attractions are charming a new generation. The following documentary is an essay to these curiosities I found that still showcase the great old-time feel. Along the way, I've documented the bold, mysterious, comedic, and curious places that show the world how irreplaceable the Commonwealth of Kentucky truly is.
For more information, contact Steve Middleton at 606-783-9583. We'll be right back after this short break. Watch NewsCenter online at msutv.net or follow us on Twitter at MSU_NewsCenter. On behalf of Mary Damon with weather, Samuel Perkins with sports, and the rest of the NewsCenter team, I'm Leanza Prony. Have a great evening.